Eddie Hearn now acting surprised, and he can't understand what happened between Joshua Fury, blames the other side, which is what I told you would happen, the blame game. Stay tuned to this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. I drop daily boxing content such as this, all things boxing. Make sure you get your fix. The dopest on the net. And, let's get into it. Now, Eddie Hearn, he just recently did an interview on DAZN, and he's basically saying he's shocked and he can't believe what happened, and he was led astray by Tyson Fury's team, and it's just a blame game, which is what I predicted. So first, let's start off with Eddie Hearn's clip. Roll the clip.
I think when you look back, you'd have to be a bit of an idiot to think that they were ever fully committed or keen to this fight. Like, it was like, I don't know. And I don't know whether that's a loss of control or, it was something promised to Wilder's team and PBC that maybe Top Rank didn't tell anybody else, and they had to make this fight. Otherwise, they would have been in a bad situation. Who knows? Everything's speculation. But, like so many people have come on to me now and just said that, they couldn't bring themselves to make that fight because they said all along, it won't happen, it won't happen. We made it happen.
Is there anything legally you can do, like against Top Rank, or do you want to do anything?
Not really, because, at the end of the day, we were in a situation where they had to sign a site agreement and they decided not to sign it. Everything was presented in front of them. As you heard from Tyson Fury, he spoke to Saudi Arabia, he was happy, the fight was done, everything was agreed, and they decided to go this way. But, just go back to that fact of when you've got, and the worst thing is Tyson Fury just playing along like this, like a fiddler, he's like, no complaints from him. He should be kicking and screaming, saying, hang on a minute, no guys, we're moving forward with the AJ fight. I'm making like $60 million more to take this fight. You better sort this mess out. But everyone was just, okay, fine, that suits us, we're going to do this. And that was the thing that pissed me off more than anything.
It was
with
kind
all
of
the work that's gone in, you never even tried. As soon as this ruling was made, you just went, great, yeah, sign a contract. You couldn't have signed it quicker. I think Deontay Wilder signed it on the 19th. That was like a day after the ruling. So people were in cahoots about this process. That's simple. And AJ feels that the entire team never wanted the fight, and they all just used his name for clout. I'd like to think Fury wanted the fight, right? But when you look at the facts and you look at the way that everything falls into place, it's very difficult to believe that they really wanted this fight, especially his team.
Now, you guys heard from Eddie Hearn himself. He's acting like he was bamboozled and, match room, rematch room, they wanted to make the fight, yada, yada, yada. And Tyson Fury's team, in hindsight, he's saying they didn't really want the fight. But ironically enough, this is all stuff that I was telling you beforehand. I was telling you guys on my channel, this is why you guys got to subscribe for the greatest at Boxing Talk, the latest and greatest. I said Tyson Fury making these fake announcements, knowing all the reports had suggested that Wilder-Fury arbitration was coming to a close, and we were getting past that chapter and getting a verdict the day before is when you really choose to make a public statement saying the fight's on. I told you Tyson Fury is an unsavory, untrustworthy type of character. He says a lot of things, but yet and still, Eddie Hearn, he couldn't see any of this in advance. He thought Tyson Fury was a man of his word or whatever. And I told you much of this was coming, the blame game. Now, let's listen to the clip just so you guys can see my message has been consistent regarding Joshua Fury and the arbitration and things like that. So I'm going to play the clip. Y'all must have forgot with Joshua Fury the day before the arbitration announcement even came out. I told you guys that it was all cap. Roll the clip. Ironically enough, I warned the whole boxing world that this would be the case. You see my video, Tyson Fury lies to fans' faces, announces Joshua Fury fight prematurely the day before the Wilder arbitration ruling. So it was heavily noted. So look, this is the day of my dad's birthday. I remember this date precisely. May 16th, 8K views. And I let you guys know that the ruling was fake. But for some reason, old media and Eddie Hearn are acting like surprised and shocked by this. But how am I just a YouTuber and able to have the wherewithal that Tyson Fury was just doing extra and it wasn't true? So I'm able to see the future apparently. So we'll, in the words of Roy Jones Jr., y'all must have forgot, we'll take you down memory lane so you guys can hear. Why wouldn't you wait to the conclusion of the arbitration and then, depending on what the arbitrator says, then release the fight and the information? Once again, this is not looking good. Make sure you guys smash the like button. So I've told you my opinion. I haven't wavered from my opinion. I don't think this makes sense. It looks like they're trying to get ahead of the bullet. There's a lot of obstacles. They're saying 1 more week, mate. They're saying the contract still isn't signed. So once again, why do we have to have Tyson Fury continuing, and Eddie Hearn and different people continuing to go before the media and try to drum up interest and create headlines for a fight, and the paperwork still isn't done? The Wilder arbitration settlement or whatever, the conclusion still hasn't been announced. How are you booking the next thing if this hasn't been taken care of and all these things haven't been put to bed, put to rest? Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing in the world of boxing, because to me, from my positioning, this doesn't look good. It looks like almost a feeble and awkward, desperate attempt from the powers that be to begin to advocate and place blame for why this fight fell apart. Like, hey, the arbitrator, we wanted to make the fight, but you know, the arbitrator, he said we had to fight Wilder, so you know, we couldn't get around that. For example, they said it's the biggest fight in British boxing history. Where's Joshua? Joshua's boom. So that's a video that I did in the past before the arbitrator's announcement and seemingly predicted the future. Now you have Eddie Hearn and all the people, old media, they're singing these slow songs and violins and doing interviews like, oh, we were so confused and this doesn't make sense to us. Well, it makes a lot of sense to me because this is what I told y'all. So there you guys have it. More proof. The ego Stradamus is also real. The greatest at boxing talk. Made no sense to begin with. Tyson Fury, he likes to play mind games. He doesn't care who he offends. He doesn't care whose toes he steps on. You know, that's just who Tyson Fury's always been. He says, hey, I'm quitting, I'm retiring. Then he'll say, I'm not retiring. He'll say, I'm fighting in MMA. I want you in Ngannou. And then his focus is boxing. I don't know why Eddie Hearn is from the same place, England, just like Tyson Fury. And he probably knows Fury personally and he's chatted with him. Why act surprised now? You know, this is just a bad look for old media. I told you, now he's doing interviews on DAZN and DAZN's having to conduct these interviews and explain it away, why they couldn't make the big fight. But like I said in the past, content is king. It's all about what you can produce. People don't want to hear, hey, it coulda, shoulda, woulda. Michael Jordan is not regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, or Kobe Bryant or LeBron. They don't get these certain accolades attached to their name based on what they couldn't do. Yeah, they missed games, they missed shots or whatever, but more often than not, you can count on them to score. Shooters shoot. Steph Curry, one of the greatest shooters in basketball history. He shoots, he makes it. More often than not, he makes it, or when it counts, he makes it, right? He puts up these crazy stats and crazy numbers. Eddie Hearn, he's you know, playing the violin here and saying, hey, we were totally tricked by Tyson Fury. And now he's saying stuff that I told you guys before the arbitration announcement even came out. Why would you stage and plan and book a fight with a legal process in the background? Notice on my channel, I don't have to make excuses. I don't have to come out and say, hey, this is why I did this. This is why you understand why I did this and why I said this. Nothing, what's understood, in the words of Deontay Wilder, what's understood don't have to be explained. It's only the people who got it wrong who are constantly having to explain away their mistakes. And I told you, it was a bad look. You trusted that Bob Arum and Tyson Fury and Frank Warren cared so much about you that they were gonna do it. Like, there's so many red flags. I would need probably an hour to go over them. Eddie Hearn was on record saying, I'm the only promoter working on this diligently day and night. I would imagine that's a problem. If there's 3 promoters, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, and Eddie Hearn, that have all been in the business for a while, why would Eddie Hearn be the only person? So now after he got played, he's understanding it. This is what I was saying from the jump. Why would Bob Arum not be helping you make the fight? And then what makes Eddie Hearn in Rematch Room look worse is he was promising the fight, and you can't take that back. You can't come from behind after, in hindsight, and say, oh yeah, I couldn't get it right, but it's all their fault. People don't care. They just want the end result. They wanted to see Joshua Fury if they wanted to see it, and you couldn't deliver. You were also a participant in this whole mess because you were saying stuff you didn't know. You were saying you were pompous. You were saying 100% the fight will be done. I've never got this deep into a fight and then the fight fell apart. So you were giving fake confidence that you couldn't assure the fans, but you were trying to make it like you understood. And Frank Warren has an interview where he says the arbitration was noted in the contract, so Eddie Hearn knew about it. So Eddie Hearn can't escape out the back door. He can't escape out the back door and act like he wasn't participating in this fake hype and promotion. So Top Rank, Frank Warren, Tyson Fury, they probably just used you. Probably one, Bob Arum was angry because you bid on the Teofimo George Kambosos fight, so he probably wanted to get you back. 2, Tyson Fury, he's a person that doesn't really care. He doesn't. His obligation isn't to a promoter that's not his. His obligation isn't to Anthony Joshua, and they use you to help build up the fight with Deontay Wilder. Because look at it, months after months, you had several months of BS going back and forth saying Joshua Fury, and we kept hearing rumors that Tyson Fury hasn't signed the contract. But as soon as the arbitrator's announcement came out on a Monday, Wilder had promptly signed, and then Fury signing within a week on the Jose Ramirez Josh Taylor fight, right? But he had already verbally agreed earlier in the week. So this is a definite. This is not, to me, I refuse to believe that this is something that wasn't being discussed. Again, Eddie Hearn, he fell for the mousetrap. They had to be working together and deciding. And I told you the global pandemic was the main reason the fight hasn't already happened. Everybody knew the trilogy was what needed to happen next. But for whatever reason, Eddie Hearn fell for the mousetrap. And now he's having to put together a big fight for DAZN and or explain away why after all of that, and after all that fake promotion, why his platform and why his promotional imprint, Rematch Room, doesn't have the big heavyweight fight, or at least the heavyweight fight that he was clamoring for. Bad look. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know how I did. I tried to tell y'all, I tried to warn y'all, I didn't want to listen. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego.